First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And yeah, and so yeah, me and Prakriti will be like continuing this conversation. And so yeah, first of all, like when you were in college, so what was like your focus, and what prompted you to like start preparing for GATE? And yeah.
Um, to be honest, when I was in my third year, sixth semester to be more precise,
Yeah.
I wanted to like develop my career in core electronics side. I wanted to go in this side and not the IT sector. Uh, it's just that my mind got fixed in that way after exploring few opportunities that side and connecting through few seniors on the LinkedIn and some other connecting apps.
Yeah.
I got to know the exposure on that side. That would be a great career option. So from that onwards, I developed this thought of preparing for GATE and going for masters. So first attempt I gave it like without preparing. It didn't go well, but after that I felt like if I prepare well, I could do and I could crack it such that I can get an admit.
Yeah.
In any top institute.
Yeah, so like today we see that like most of the students like I think I'm sure like this was the case when you were also in college, that most of us want, like even those students who are in core branches want to go into IT sector, like because like it pays well and it's relatively easier to get into. So uh, like what do you want to like what message would you want to give to those students, uh, like why should they go for GATE, considering that it is like a tough exam to crack, and when they have a more easy option?
Not just GATE, any of the competitive exams, when you start preparing, you should have a strong motive. You should have a positive attitude and strong motive before entering into that domain. So be in such an attitude that we will give our all, and whatever result we get, we should utilize it properly and make the most out of the result. And then for those who want to make the career out of core electronics or any core branch, then for them GATE is the best option. Yeah, those who want to go to other path, yeah, any path has its own advantages and disadvantages, but those who want to get into the core field, for them GATE is the best option. That's all I could say.
Yeah, Prakriti also would like to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Prakriti, and I'm a second year student of Department of Electrical and Electronics at Dhanam Sagar College. Sir, as you know that you will be guiding us today about the GATE exam. So we would like to know that when did you start preparing for the exam? Like, which was your first focused attempt? It was during your graduation or after you graduated, or did you take up the job and after that?
My first attempt was during my graduation. Just an attempt it was. My focused attempt was after the graduation the next year in 2022. I graduated in 21 and I gave my first full focused attempt in 22.
Okay, sir. So we would like to know what was your rank in your second attempt that that helped you to get admission at the IIT Kanpur.
My rank was EC for GATE paper EC. I got 1380 all India rank.
Okay, so you attempted from the electronics side, not from the electrical.
Both. I attempted from both papers. We have that. We have that option.
Yeah. Sir, I would like to ask that there is a common perception around that pursuing higher studies in electrical domain, and that too from India, has become a dry field. And most of the students wish to get into core or software industry as soon as they get out of the campus. So what's your take on this issue, and what motivated you to take this MTech degree, and how to get over this dilemma of whether to study that 1 year or to directly get an industry experience?
Uh, the core industry, whatever you're saying, the electronics, yeah, there are relatively less opportunities, like what you're saying, compared to IT sector. Um, but the thing is, it is not as dry as the people are perceiving it to be. It has many unexplored opportunities. It is just that most of us are not equipped yet, and we will get equipped eventually when we get a right platform. And for me, that's IITK right now.
Okay, sir. Actually, sir, we often feel insecure about the fact of missing out of the job opportunities and work experiences because we are still preparing for a competitive exam that requires a lot of planned hard work, and whereas our other friends would be getting into industry and earning money, and they will be gaining some experience. But your words will be guiding light on this issue. Sir, please give an insight about your preparation strategy for GATE and your preparation journey for our viewers.
Preparation strategy of GATE. Yeah, the initial words you said. Whenever during the time I was preparing for GATE, almost every week I used to somehow get the news of one of my classmates getting placed in IT or some other domain. Like they got settled somehow. But here I am attempting for an exam that is some approximately 8-9 months ahead, and I don't know the result. Of course, I will succeed or not. I don't know. I'm just going through some positive attitude and just preparing with some self motivation. Uh, yeah, it feels tough, but eventually, when your motive is strong, you will get going through. And yeah, you asked about preparation strategy. I started full-fledged preparation in 21 March when I took an academy subscription, the paid subscription, and then I started preparing networks and analog circuits in the first cycle. Those two subjects for they went around 2 months because those are the basics from where anyone should start ideally. Eventually, it felt like those subjects weren't as tough as uh, I thought them to be during my bachelor's. It is just that I didn't give enough time. It I found out that. So eventually, I picked up my basics very well. My foundations went strong, and after those two subjects, when I started another two subjects for after next 2 months, and then I started revising these two slowly. I felt the load as easier after I started developing the routine. Like that, I developed my capacity of studying more subjects parallelly, and then practicing and few test series. They gave me more confidence.
Sir, as you mentioned that you took paid subscription of an academy, various students, maximum of the students, they go for coaching. But for people who are currently in college, because of the hectic, busy schedule of the college, it is difficult for the students to get into coaching because there also the schedule is highly rigorous. And those who are working, they also find it difficult to get enrolled in a regular coaching. And there are students who cannot afford coaching primarily. So for those, there is sources available on internet. So how would you rate them, and what's your take on that? How important is coaching nowadays? Can we not do self preparation?
Self preparation can be done, but it requires high motive. In most of the cases, what I saw, I'm not generalizing. There are people who are successful, more successful than me. I took subscription without any paid subscription or paid coaching. They achieved better results than me. There are examples. So yeah, developing a routine is important. For me, I felt like I need coaching. For those who are very self-motivated and if they don't need coaching, they can prepare. But the sources, they can rely on books and few standard NPTEL lectures. And developing that routine is important, but there are ample sources and they are satisfactory.
Okay, sir. So regarding the sources, we see that there is a yeah. So as you have mentioned about the sources and books, there is a huge influx of sources around us nowadays, which is both advantageous, but it has posed more challenges in front of us. So how to be aware of how to choose the right kind of sources? And apart from that, what are some of the other common mistakes that the aspirant does during their preparation?
Choosing the right sources, like don't spend more time on exploring all the sources. Take up some 2 to 3 top rated sources and then test some lectures, like go through some lectures of those sources, or go through some, if the source is kind of book or something, read through the first few topics and then decide yourself which source is better for you and then follow that. Every course has its own advantages, own disadvantages. One particular instructor will cover one extra thing and miss out on some other thing. So we should be quick enough to judge the content. We should not spend too much time on like selecting the content, whether this one is right or that one is right. Follow one source, like it will be beneficial, and after that, the way you practice will lead you to success.
Sir, you mentioned NPTEL, that like there are lectures on NPTEL, and there are lectures particularly for GATE exams on NPTEL. So like, how did you utilize NPTEL, and did you also use NPTEL when you were in college, when you were doing bachelor's?
In bachelor's, yes, to revise few topics, I utilized that. During GATE, I already had a paid subscription, so I didn't need much of the NPTEL content, though I referred few topics because NPTEL has some veteran professors who teach those topics, probably the best in India to teach those topics or subjects. So for few subjects where I need more clarity or need to revise them more often, for those type of content, I referred NPTEL. Rest all the routine flow of the preparation, the routine flow of the syllabus, I followed Unacademy.
Okay, and also like we see today that like every year, like for even for our batch and like the batches that we follow, more and more topics are removed from the syllabus, from the core subjects, to like to make it more easy, like to decrease the load on students. So, do you think that if I were to prepare for GATE, or like any of us were to prepare for GATE, it would be an added burden to like study those subjects or study those topics on our own when we finish college, or when we are in the final year, as compared to the previous batches?
Um, you're asking about topics added and removed in GATE every year.
No, like I'm asking about the topics which are removed from the our bachelor's, the syllabus that we are currently
Okay,
studying.
bachelor syllabus.
Yeah. So a lot of topics which are important from the point of view of the GATES exam have been removed from our syllabus to introduce like programming languages like C++ and Python, and yeah. So does that add a burden while we are preparing for the GATE exam?
Because C++ and Python, they are more relevant as per the current industry standards.
Yeah.
Like literally every domain, not just the IT sector, even the core domain needs those skills. So they need to be in the curriculum. But regarding those core topics, they need to be covered. But I feel that somewhere in a fast track mode, like cover few topics in self preparation wise, like give the students a task that study them and summarize and grade those. Somehow feed them, but with these topics.
Yeah.
But those C and C++ or Python programming languages, which you are stating, they need to be in the curriculum as per the current scenario.
Okay. And also we see that we have this approach that we study like maybe a week before the semester exams or before the internals, like just to get marks. Like most of the students, like they
Yeah.
study just for the marks. So I'm sure like it doesn't help when we are preparing for a competitive exam like GATE or any other exam. So like, do we need to change that attitude if we want to succeed in GATE?
Definitely we need to, because when I prepared before 15 days from the GATE exam, 15 days before the GATE exam, I didn't do anything, literally anything. Didn't read a new topic, didn't even solve the question, to be honest, because I needed to be in a proper mental state. Those 3 hours of GATE exam which we attempt, like 40 to 50% is about the mentality you have. You don't have to study everything. Whatever the common questions an average GATE student can crack, make sure that you can solve all of those questions, and then with your preparation you need to solve few more. That will like get through.
Okay. Prakriti, if you'd like to add two topics.
Sir, there is another common dilemma among students is that most of the students who are interested in core, they also are quite hesitant about writing GATE exam or preparing for such competitive exam. They feel that if they want to pursue their career in core, they would either upskill themselves with the latest technology instead of preparing for an exam which has a low selection rate, because there are hundreds and thousands of aspirants competing for a single seat in the prestigious institute. So how would you address that issue?
Yeah, what you said is true. Somewhere I feel like this making a career in core domain, we need a proper platform for us to express. I think these top institutes provide that, exactly that. Upskilling themselves and going through is fine. If they are motivated enough and they can choose that path also. But especially in core domain, I feel like these higher institutions provide that uplift, which an average student needs.
Sir, because there is another problem which they point out here is that the examination pattern is not well suited for that, because the GATE exam primarily focuses on the theoretical topics, and mostly it doesn't test your innovativeness, which is required to be a student pursuing post-graduation or master's. Uh, uh, the GMAT pattern for the foreign universities, it reviews your projects firstly and your application, what have you done in your college and all those stuffs. But here in GATE, the single entrance exam will decide whether you are capable of pursuing masters or. So there is some loophole here in the examination pattern as well. So what's your take?
Testing projects and all, like imagine somehow the student didn't perform well in bachelor's, like they didn't perform much projects, but all of a sudden he or she develops the interest to get into core domain and they starts preparing GATE. They perform very well in GATE. Performing in GATE is a greater achievement. Like we can't just write it off saying that they didn't do projects well, or so they are not good enough. No, it's not. It doesn't go like that. It is like they wanted a second chance, so they took that second chance through GATE, and whatever the fundamentals they're lacking, the skills they're lacking, they come here during their postgraduate. They will learn those and pick up.
And sir, we also see that a lot of students like go abroad, like to countries like Germany and UK to like for masters. So like, did you think about going abroad, or like you had any such plans, like in case you were not able to clear GATE?
I haven't had a investment first of all,
Okay.
and also think about the return of investment (ROI). The fee with the expenses here are very much manageable, like except for the travel, because from Kanpur to Bangalore only the travel charges are higher. Otherwise it is very much affordable. I am almost self-efficient, like I can pay my own fees almost, except some deficit.
Yeah.
So in that way, those who cannot afford to be going to abroad but can avail all the facilities and all the stature, like the research facilities especially, they are no less than those foreign universities.
Okay. So for those who can, like afford to go, or like can take loan and study abroad, and if they are not able to clear GATE, so do you think it is a wise option to have a backup plan, like to go back into the like corporate world, or go abroad and do your masters? Because like there are universities of same ranking and same standard that of IITs, and they have higher acceptance rate because like the students are less there. So do you think it is a wise option if they can afford to go and do their masters abroad?
It depends on one's ability to invest, one's motive. I would say it's their call completely. It doesn't matter, because the way you excel depends on your attitude and mentality wherever you go. If they can afford, choosing foreign universities is fine, because as you said, the acceptance rate, they don't have to wait for 1 year long and then depend on one single exam. For those who feel like that, yeah, definitely it's a good option.
Okay. And like, what was your backup plan, like in case you because you appeared for the second attempt, and in case you could not clear for the exam, so what was your plan?
My backup plan, when during my preparation, I found out that I will get a reasonable rank at least. The thing is, I should make the most out of that rank. If at all, even in the worst case, if I don't get any reasonable rank at all, I need to prepare for some other exams which provide admission to postgraduate, because that was the only aim I had, to study postgraduate education.
Okay,
so apart from GATE, I had BITS Pilani as some option, and apart from that, yeah, I didn't mind to give other attempt, if not this.
It's like you're determined that yeah, you will do post graduation and then
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Prakriti, you do that.
So now, moving on to your subject, can you please elaborate on your stream of post-graduation?
Yeah, it is SPCOM, Signal Processing, Communication and Networks in IIT Kanpur. Like, it has one of the best faculties ever for this stream, especially for the kind of research happening here in wireless communications or 5G, now even 6G for that matter. And in signal processing side, it is more inclined towards the computer science domain also. Signal processing and machine learning are very much integrated nowadays. The topics like audio processing, image processing, computer vision, very exciting research is going on in these fields. The domain of SPCOM is very diverse. you can study, you can get inclined towards the computer science topics and also towards the hardware side and communication, wireless communication.
Can you give brief insight about the projects going on in your domain? Currently, you are working on?
In my, you're asking about my postgraduate research.
Yeah.
It is based on computer vision and deep learning based research. So don't mind, I wouldn't like to discuss much right now because as it is my research proposal, so I need to work on this. It needs to be private.
Okay. So some other projects that the SPCom is working on?
It worked on 5G and then now they're working on 6G. In image processing, they are working on telescopic images and all, and also the remote sensing, climate predictions. And then I went through some project where they are sensing emotions through brain for those who can't emote, physically disabled. For them, they're developing some peripheral accessories so that they can express.
Sir, can you please explain about what is the after gate exam process where we have to select stream? Like there are many streams in both electrical and electronics discipline purely, and interdisciplinary fields in CS, AI, robotics, etc., which are available for masters. And so, how can we select one stream out of the many streams which have better scope?
Selecting a stream depends on your interest. After clearing the gate, we'll have our own plans, like whether to go to the hardware side or to go to the ML side, data science. It depends on our own analysis. We go through the opportunities, the kind of circle we develop, the seniors we have, all the guidance we receive from them. That makes us inclined towards a particular domain.
Okay, sir. So the next concern we all face is the growing redundancy in the curriculum at the graduation level. The course is not updated and it consists of age-old technologies. There's a perception that being good in academics nowadays is not of much help now, and instead one should get good in tech skills, latest tech skills to become employable. So there is a drift, as to say, from the fundamentals of the syllabus. So what's your take on this, and what is your suggestion in this regard? And what do you think should be modified in the engineering curriculum at the BTech level?
The curriculum drift, yeah. When I came here in the first semester, I experienced that the linear algebra I studied there and the linear algebra here, because linear algebra is a mandatory course for SPCom. There is a huge difference. I really suffered a lot to catch up the basics and then study. I literally referred so many sources to pick up. And then to suggest the changes, it's something like we need more implementation based curriculum as well. Few set of advanced topics we need for them for implementation and give them a proper weightage so that we learn something from them. Because whenever implementing a project, we go through some articles, some material as well, and then the learnings we learn there, they will stay in our mind for a longer time because we read on our own interest, and then it makes us motivated to towards implementation, to implement anything and study on our own. That is what industry expects us to do in nowadays.
Sir, actually, there are various hot topics in the field of electrical engineering, like smart grids. Then we have harnessing of renewable energy. Then AI and ML in the field of embedded systems and Internet of Things. All those stuffs we are able to explain, we are able to explore by participation in some hackathons or project competitions, but those things are not taught in our academics. If they are taught, they are just added as some optional subject and they are not much focused on, but these are actually the skills which are being checked by the employers, and wherever we go, even when we are making our projects, these are the most important skills that we must have. So how what's your take on this, and shouldn't you feel that this should be included as the core part of the subject as we study electrical machines and network theory? These are also the core subjects which must be focused on.
Um,
Even in
including
the
this,
exam.
even in the exam, yeah, like they are being offered as electives, I think, most of them. The smart subjects like smart grid. Even MLA is being offered, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, like they should something like they should make the project, the final project, more inclined towards integrating the core concepts and then these advanced topics together. We shouldn't leave the core. We are electrical engineers for a reason, so we should focus on developing something related to that by including these topics. Yeah, I feel those projects should be a right combination of both of these. And then there should be more focus on these electives. They should encourage taking these electives. And these modern electives which we are talking about, the smart grid, AI, ML or something, they need to be of more of implementation rather than just an exam based course.
Prabhakar, would you like to ask?
When we're talking about implementing the concepts that we study and the emerging technologies that we talked about. So like at least in college, what we have experienced, like we had like mini projects and all. So what we see is that like even the professors or the like the guides we have, so they ask us like to go through a few research papers, like go on the internet, see some research papers, and just like you know not just copy the content, like take the material from there, make a project, and like that's it. So do you think that there should be more focus on like guiding the students, especially in the initial years, like first year and second year of college, like how you can uh, like even if it's not very advanced, how you can develop a project on your own? Like I think that is more useful rather than copying a very complicated and advanced project from a YouTube video or someone else's research paper. So how do you think we can change that in our college?
The BTech project, the final project, it is something like that needs some innovation, some contribution from our side. They ask us to implement the research paper because in the process of implementing that research paper, the stuff of that research paper.
So sorry to interrupt you, sir, but like not only the final project that we have in fourth year, but like we had many projects in first year also. Like every year we have many projects, like first year, second year, third year, in like for our batch. So uh, regarding that, I raised that question.
Okay, regarding those mini projects, implementing research papers is in the process of that implementation. You will learn what you can add extra. If something is your own thought, you don't know till what extent that domain is, that particular problem is being explored, till what extent the developments are being made. So it will give you that exposure, studying the research papers and then implementing that.
Also, like it has been made company institutions or for core branches, and like how we can utilize that opportunity while we are in college.
Internships at core branches, to be honest, especially these core companies, they demand some high CPI. Just try to maintain as much as possible, try your best, and then have some skills, programming skills especially, and then connect through some seniors. LinkedIn referrals could work.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, Prakriti, you can continue.
So, sir, as we are coming to the end of the interaction, what message you want to give to all the students, some general advice so that they can excel in the core field itself?
Choosing to go to the core field should be your own choice, your own motive. Have some strong motive and enter into this domain. And then after entering this in domain, like I know, like many of the students getting through masters will lack some basics from the bachelors, but we can eventually pick up, have some faith, and then enter into the domain. The domain is very much unexplored, and there are much better opportunities than what you think or what you're exposed to. And also with the ongoing surge in, especially in VLSI or semiconductor industry, it is the right time to enter into core electronics domain. Have your basics strong, and you can eventually develop your basics later on also if you are missing on something. Yeah, if you are interested, this is the right time to get into core side.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, last question, that how can students get connected with you?
I think I shared the LinkedIn profile to Satish sir.
So the LinkedIn profile of Karthik sir will be pinned in the description link of the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like Prabhakar to take on
Yeah.
the
Thank you so much, sir, for like taking time to talk to us. It was really very interactive, and we'd love to connect to you again.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you.
great interacting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. It was, we got to know a lot of information about the exam.